Since I believe that the path of people's life cross for a reason, all the people that work for me have very specific reason to come into my life. So each one of the people that has worked for me, with me, I should say, not for me, they have been very special people. They are not somebody that I picked out of, advertising for an apprentice or anything like that. They crossed sometimes the oceans to come here. Amrit, for instance, he comes from Kathmandu, Nepal. He asked me to be with me, and I certainly, how can you refuse somebody they ask from such an exotic and faraway place, and is also a fourth-generation silversmith himself. I decided anybody that goes to that extent must be a very special person, and he certainly is. Anthony has been with me 30 years.
His genius was scary right from the beginning. Here I was 25 years old. He's got 4 generations of a craft, and I didn't know anything about it. I couldn't keep up with him. I couldn't do it. How the heck am I going to do this? The hardest thing I had to learn that he taught me was not to be afraid of the metal, not to be afraid to melt it, not to be afraid to bend it and do what you had to do to get it done. And I just stuck with it, and eventually it just all kind of came together.
In alchemy, you would only teach your secrets, mysteries, to an adept. And the adept dedicated himself to enter the temple, a kind of a monastic kind of concept. All the people that worked with me, they have entered that temple. They have crossed the threshold and dedicated themselves to it. I usually refer to art as a continuum. Historically, we judge artists, innovators, when they go up to the step of their time and then they jump either to the next step or in a different direction. However, they jump from the step that they climbed. The past is not an handicap, it's a lesson. It is something to follow. I have a medieval furnace. Actually, the same type of furnace was used by the Romans and before. It was used in the 18th century. That's my connection to the past. It is not just for the furnace, for everything that we do in life. We often forget where we come from. So it's very easy for me. All I have to turn my head and see the coal, and I know exactly who I am, I know where I'm coming from, and I know where I'm going.
I think in the hands of a skilled craftsman like Ubaldo Vitali, who's a craftsman and a scholar at the same time, there's a link between the past and the present that is unique in the work he does. He represents a craft that is changing dramatically. There are very few young silversmiths coming up who are looking to make the kind of thing he does or do the kind of thing he does in terms of conservation. So I think he represents a standard at a very high level that may be endangered at the moment. I like to think not forever. He represents a moment in American craft history that has passed, and yet he really also represents a standard that I hope doesn't evaporate.
Art, as Vitali says, is a continuum, and for a legend like him, the years past tell a rich tale of tradition, studied mastery, and stunning commissions lining vaulted halls. The years ahead offer a hopeful view. Because of Ubaldo's quiet dedication, rare talent, and persistent invention, it would seem the conversation between man and art is far from over. For more on this episode and other Agents of Change, please go to cnn.com/thenextlist and join me on my live stream at cnn.com/Sanjay. You can see my videos, blogs, and tweets, as well as behind-the-scenes photos. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta. We'll see you back here next Sunday.